Good afternoon, everybody listening to the Randall Barnes Experience. I am Randall Barnes, broadcasting live from the beautiful Health and Physical Education Complex of Fort Valley State University, doing something really special today. I'm also broadcasting live on HBCU Pulse. I am Beautiful 365 and Urban Intellectuals, the Urban Intellectuals family. This is really special today. You already know we showed the games we showed a visual radio broadcast for the games that Randall Barnes and Quintarius Turner does, but today is really special. It's crazy because I had to do this, man. I wrote an article. You know, I got to do this real radio broadcast about Omarosa resigning from the White House, man. And I'm just blown away right now because I was up there with Omarosa in the White House for September because I'm a White House HBCU All-Star Ambassador for Fort Valley State University. And I got a chance to interface with her, got a chance to interact with her, and also got a chance to see firsthand how she interacted with the Trump administration, other staffers. And also I have some personal stories about her that I want to share. But if you're just listening, you're listening to the Randall Barnes Experience, broadcasting live from Fort Valley State University. The Lady Wildcats today are going to be playing Clayton State University, my HBCU, Fort Valley State University. And I want to go on and do this recording because this is about Omarosa getting fired from the White House. Well, resign. We're going to say resign because we want to be economical and I don't want to get sued now that I'm running HBCU Post. Anyway, so today I woke up this morning and I happened to go on my phone. I'm in a big old group meet with my other all-star peers, and they actually told me Carmine Childress from Jackson State, she's the all-star for Jackson State this year, and she actually said in the group chat that Omarosa was fired. I'm like, what? I'm like, now, you know, people be spreading false news and want to make sure before I say anything I know it's true. But I looked at Politico, and it was actually true. Omarosa, quote unquote, resigned from the White House on last night. So I'm gonna read you my article that I wrote on HBCU Post. You can read it on HBCU Post. If you're looking at it on the HBCU Post Facebook feed of this audio, it's actually in the comments. It's pinned to the top. But if you can't click on it, if you're on your phone, you can go to HBCU Post. It's the first article that comes up on the page. So I'm gonna read to you what I put. There are so many reasons why being a White House HBCU All-Star is so rewarding, but receiving breaking news when it breaks from Washington has to be the best. I woke up to the notification from the 2017 White House HBCU All-Star Ambassador Group me that former Apprentice TV star turned Director of Communications for the Office of Public Liaisons, Omarosa Manigault-Newman, will be resigning from the White House. According to reports from the White House, she will be officially resigning from her position on January 20th, the one-year anniversary of President Donald Trump's inauguration. The White House said in a statement, Omarosa Manigault-Newman resigned yesterday to pursue other opportunities. We wish her the best in her future endeavors and are grateful for her service. This news comes months after it was reported that Trump Chief of Staff John Kelly put Omarosa on a no-fly list of White House aides who wander into meetings without prompting. As a 2017 White House HBCU All-Star Ambassador representing Fort Valley State University, I had the chance to go to Washington in September and meet with the heads of the White House additional HBCUs, and we happened to encounter key members of the Trump administration. Omarosa was one of them. Our trip in September was a week and a half after the news that Omarosa was on John Kelly's no-fly list. So yeah, man, I was up there. That's what I put up on HBCU Pulse. You can look at the article and read the rest of what I had to say. And it's crazy because, you know, for me as an HBCU All-Star, and that's going out there to Washington, I saw her in person. We encountered her, we encountered Betsy DeVos, we encountered other key members of the Trump administration, and just crazy that first of all, I'm basically in a news story now. She interacted with us, and I got the exclusive information. Politico done drop the story, HBCU Digest done drop the story. Pretty sure Buzz is gonna come with some. I'm pretty sure you don't have other HBCU outlets, the other news outlets, mainstream news outlets, they're gonna drop some. The political news outlets, I'm pretty sure the comedians, your Samantha Bees, your Trevor Noahs, your Stephen Colbert is gonna say something. But I have a personal story on encountering Omarosa when I went to the White House. So I'm gonna read what I wrote. So I'm gonna want to read it in sequential order because I actually wrote some recaps that are also on HBCU Post, where I talked about encountering Omarosa, and the first article I'm reading from is also in the comments on the Facebook Live, Urban Intellectuals, and HBCU Post, and I Am Beautiful 365 people that are listening. Thank you for listening. So I'm going to read what I said in the article right now. So we're looking right now as we roll into the Eisenhower building. I had a feeling something out of our comfort zone was going to happen. I felt like Trump would pop up and try to speak with us. He was at a summit out of state, so I knew it was far-fetched. HBCU students visiting Washington, D.C. was the furthest thing from his mind, especially when North Korea flexing their military muscles. When I ruled him out, I knew we'd end up meeting Omarosa and Betsy DeVos. It was automatic. I mean, why wouldn't they make an appearance? With all that's going on in the news, they need all the positive press they can get. I swear I said, we're going to meet Omarosa and Betsy DeVos. I knew we were going to meet them, but people were like, nah, they probably ain't here. They ain't worried about us. So we pulled up to the Eisenhower building, and they had to go through an extensive security check. We had to have been checked 3 times for the exact same thing. Well, I'm just going to appear with a weapon after I walk 5 steps from the last person that checked me out. For a second, I thought they were going to have to strip search us to make sure we didn't have anything. So we made it to the Eisenhower building, and we got this nice room where we'd be having our first morning sessions. They let us know they took the liberty of getting us quote-unquote breakfast, and I was appreciative because I was starving. I was expecting it to be grits, bacon, eggs, pastries there waiting for us with plates that had the presidential seal on it. Well, I'm halfway right at least. They had pastries and napkins. They basically made us stop by the nearest Walmart, brought some muffins and bagels, put it in a tray, and called it a morning. Don't get me wrong now, that blueberry muffin was good, it was bussin'. However, my stomach was growling like the wildcat on my shirt for more food. Scratch that, for some food, scratch that, more food. So here's where it gets interesting when I met Omarosa and Betsy DeVos. We all did. So we sat in the room for about 30 minutes just walking around and talking to ourselves. Elise Jones's mom, who's over the initiative, a proud volunteer for the program, wanted us to come up and introduce ourselves to the room to break the ice. My man from Alabama State, David King, went up there and tore the house down. He declared that he would be president of the United States by 2032. So, of course, I went up there. I promoted Urban Intellectuals and promoted what I had going on. But before I got a chance to say anything, Elise came in and said we had a special guest coming by. We then learned that Omarosa and Betsy DeVos wanted to speak with us. Now let's quantify this whole thing, right? The special guest really was not Omarosa and Betsy DeVos. The special guest was actually the executive director of the White House Initiative HBCUs, Jonathan Holyfield, who we actually got a chance to meet and actually hear speak 30 minutes later. And if you're looking at the article, you can see the picture of Jonathan Holyfield, Betsy DeVos, and Omarosa. Omarosa looking at the camera. My friend from FAMU, who's also an all-star, Amani Cooper, actually took that picture for me. How I viewed it, our encounter with Omarosa and Betsy DeVos wasn't planned. It was something that was sort of thrown together at the last minute, but they made it work. What was supposed to be us having various workshops on how to be effective leaders on our campuses and execute our initiatives to the best of our abilities quickly turned into a whole program where we sat in the Eisenhower building press room and Omarosa, Betsy DeVos, and the new executive director addressed us. We were then called up to the stage to be formally recognized as HBCU All-Stars. It was surreal that we were finally getting formally recognized as HBCU All-Stars, but my excitement was accompanied by some worry. They aren't the most liked public figures in Washington, clearly. Plus, the media outlets like to create their own stories to comment on that they're as far from the truth as you can get. Plus, they get unsubstantiated sources that are barely even important in their own minds. I'm just gonna leave that there. We got some more pressing things to talk about. I was put at ease when I got the idea to document what was said. So what happened was, we said we were going in there. They told us they were taking us in there, and I was like, "Listen, y'all, we need to record this. We need to video this if we can. They might tell us to shut off the cameras, but people like this to paint a narrative of us. They're gonna try to call us coons. They're gonna try to say we can't wait to meet with Betsy DeVos. We're cooning, we shucking, we driving. When that's not the case, we're just there to represent HBCUs, and this is something that we couldn't control because it wasn't even on the program, right? So I was like, listen, we're gonna control there. And I'm basically the media guy from my cohort. They like ran with the media, social media stuff. So I was like, listen, make sure you document it, make sure you record it. And people were definitely putting it on Snapchat. And I had my friend Amani. Amani was right beside me. She was basically the camera woman for that day. So Amani assisted me in getting pictures and videos of everything. It was at the point I became determined to tell the real story behind my all-star cohort and our initiatives. We can't allow others to tell our stories. We have to push our narrative, or we're slaves to the outlet with the biggest voice. We shout through a megaphone here at Urban Intellectuals and HBCU Pulse. So Mr. Holyfield, who's the director of the initiative now, didn't say much outside of giving us a general introduction into his background. After that, we went back to the room we were in originally. Then we met with Aspire TV's Melissa Ingram and also the personalities for Brown and Sugar, the one I'm saying it wrong probably, but Issa Rae's show that she has on Aspire TV. Shout out to Aspire TV, love them. And also we had a chance to talk with a member of the cast of The Graduates on Aspire TV. So I didn't put this in the article. So here's what happened. So we're in there, and we're getting talked to by these personalities for Aspire TV. And how about Omarosa walks in? So no one planned it, because we thought we wouldn't see her again. We thought we would get she would get her little photo up and then move on. But we're sitting in there, we're taking notes, we're listening. All of a sudden, Omarosa walks in smiling. She's taking selfies. She got her phone up, taking selfies, right? So I'm looking around at the people that's sitting around me. I'm like, what is going on? What is she doing? So I wasn't worried about it. She left out again. I'm like, bet, okay, I'm a mass comm major. These folks work for Aspire TV. You got the VP of Aspire TV over there, Melissa Ingram. I'm like, man, trying to get what she at, trying to get on her level. So let's just chill out, and I'm just do my thing and listen to what's going on, right? So then she comes back in, and I'm like, okay. And we're all looking at her like, what are you doing in here again? You got a picture, you got a selfie, you probably put us on your Snapchat. Okay, you were props and the little things. Okay, cool. So we're trying to just listen, get resources to help our universities. And she just pops back up. Then she stays in, she just sits down. I promise you, I swear, even the speakers were looking at her like, why is she here? Because they're HBC grads too. So, we're doing our thing, and she gets up, she wants us to take headshots. She said she paid a photographer to take pictures out of her own money and everything. And then, we take our headshots, people meet with her, she sits down with us, and she's talking to people. And I'm like, this is different. So of course we didn't see her again, but it was just a topic among the All-Stars at that point in time, because we just thought it would be a one-off. First of all, people thought they wouldn't see Omarosa and Best of Us at all. Best of Us, we shook her hand, met her or whatever, then she dipped. However, Omarosa stayed around, and she kept bringing up that she went to an HBCU. She also shouted out Howard University. When we were in the Eisenhower building, she said, I went to Howard, this and that. I'm like, wow. Like, so she's around us. She's calling out on her HBCU affiliation a whole lot. So that's the last time we saw her. So then she pops up again in our third day before we went back to our respective HBCUs. So what I'm reading from right now, if you listen to Urban Intellectuals on HBCU Pulse on Facebook Live and also on IMB 365, I'm looking at this article right here that I wrote, being HBCU All-Star Day 3, visiting the White House when HBCU rivals meet and stranded in DC, right? So this is what I'm reading, so check it out, right? So this is crazy, man. So this is when stuff got real. This is when, we were looking at some stuff, and man, I did not expect to see her. And I'm looking, and we pull up at the Smithsonian, and we happen to see Omarosa, and the encounter was just so crazy. So let me read what I wrote, right? Going down to it right now. If you're listening, thank you so much for listening. This is the live recording of the Randall Barnes Experience live at Fort Valley State University Health and Physical Education Complex. The Lady Wildcats, the Wildcat basketball team, is going to be playing Clayton State University. And I was ready to interview some players, ready to, give a recap of what happened with the Wildcat boys from yesterday, give some stats. And this news broke of Omarosa getting fired from the White House. And I have a platform now to address these issues. I've always had a platform with Urban Intellectuals, but now with HBCU Pulse, we have a broader platform. And it's just so crazy that I had to go on and talk about it, man. 'Cause I was actually up there in the White House with her. So, man, I had to say something real quick, man. So I'm going down to it. So I'm going to read this right now, right here. So let's hop back to Tuesday. We pulled up at the Smithsonian Museum, and I was amazed. We saw the Washington Monument, and we took pictures of it. We then made it inside the museum, and I once again was amazed at how huge it was. My attention turned from the museum to Omarosa, seemingly popping up out of nowhere. We were all confused when we saw her. Why was she there? We were at a place that had nothing to do with the White House or being HBCU All-Stars. The trip to the Smithsonian Museum was supposed to be a leisure trip because a lot of us were asking about it. Yet Omarosa was there with us, just hovering around. She swore that the White House rented out the Smithsonian just for the All-Stars to tour, but right after she said that, a whole other group of white people walked into the museum. I'm gonna read that again. She swore that the White House rented out the Smithsonian just for the All-Stars to tour, but right after she said that, a whole other group of white people walked into the museum. We know they weren't HBCU All-Stars. What was she talking about? All of us were black this time. And there's nothing wrong with that. They can walk in there. It was great. They went to see the Smithsonian. If you're in Washington D.C., go see the Smithsonian Museum of African American History. You got to go see it. But yeah, that was crazy. They were not all stars, and she told us that they rented out the building, but they did anyway. So so we're doing our thing, and I'm just wow. I'm just at this point. I'm just amazed that she really said that. So. I'm just gonna read this too, and this is just my opinion. I'm speaking for myself. I just want to say this: that Elise Jones, who's over the NISTA, was phenomenal. And I'm reading this. I'm gonna say once again with disclaimer, I'm speaking for myself, right? So speaking of Elise, I don't like how Omarosa was trying her best to take credit for the trip. We were standing in alphabetical order by our last names as we prepared to go through yet another security checkpoint against the White House. Omarosa was in the front telling us how she hired the photographers out of her pocket, how she got into the White House and every guys in the White House and dropped $100,000 to fund the trip. I mean, she could have been lying, or she could have been telling the truth. I don't know at this point. We didn't get any confirmation on it. However, I needed Omarosa to put some respect on Elise's name. Elise has been the glue holding us together this whole trip and through this whole process. She kept us informed and answered our questions in timely fashion. She consistently showing us love, and it was such a joy to meet in person. So for her to not get the credit was disheartening. As All-Stars, we had taken it in our own hands, and you got to read the rest of the article for that. But I didn't like that. I was up there, because I was my last name Barnes, so I was up there in front with her. And she was talking about how she dropped this amount of money out her pocket. I went to Howard, HBCU. I'm proud of y'all because I was HBCU graduate too. And one big thing of the whole entire trip to Washington is that she was never, ever not away from us. Except that time we went from the White House, she kept hovering around us the whole time. When we actually went to the White House and toured the East Wing, she stayed with us. She was almost like our chaperone. It was just crazy, and that's why it's just crazy to hear this news, because it's like firsthand we're seeing that Omarosa wasn't rocking with the staff. Just firsthand. I mean, I don't want, because I'm not trying my best not to say nothing that get me in anything, because I ain't trying to get in no beef no more, but it's just very telling what's going on in that White House. I know she got into the little thing at she called the Congressional Black Caucus out. I know she had a little showdown with Ed Gordon, which is different because Ed Gordon was really cool. That's the OG for what I do in journalism and mass communications. And it's just crazy that I was up there and she's gone. I don't want to cast any aspersions because I don't know what's going on. However, I'm looking at April Ryan's Twitter right now. If you're listening, this is the Random Orange Experience. Random Orange live from Fort Valley State University Health and Physical Education Complex. The Lady Wildcats on tonight are going to be playing the Clayton State University Lakers. Going to be streaming it live on my Facebook. I'm going to be sharing it on Urban Intellectuals tonight starting at 6 o'clock, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And we're also right now streaming live on Urban Intellectuals, HBCU Pulse, and I Am Beautiful 365. I was going to just talk about basketball today. The Wildcat boys, they beat Valdosta State University, a big win. Won 82-68. The boys played great. I'm just going to try to interview some of the players, hopefully maybe interview coach, do a nice little podcast. But man, I had to cover this breaking news. Omarosa resigned from the White House April Ryan saying it was really crazy. So Omarosa said, no, it's not Omarosa, April Ryan. Omarosa said, for what I understand, Omarosa was cussing people out, but April Ryan, who is a White House correspondent, you know, a contributor to CNN, and a Morgan State alumni. I did not know that. You're gonna hear that. You're gonna see that shared a lot here, especially hopefully in the next few days. She's great. I love April Ryan. So April Ryan said on her Twitter 4 hours ago, she said, "I'm hearing from several sources there was a lot of drama at the White House last night, and it wasn't about the Alabama election. Fired. Stay tuned." She then said in another tweet, "This is not the first firing from Omarosa from Trump." She then said, "Sources say General Kelly did the firing, and Omarosa is alleged to have acted very vulgar and cursed a lot and said she helped elect President Trump." The word is that General Kelly had it and got rid of her. April Ryan said 3 hours ago in another tweet, according to multiple sources, Omarosa did not resign. She was even escorted out of the building and off campus. So April Ryan then said 2 hours ago, after getting some updates, okay, the White House still contends Omarosa signed a resignation letter, but General Kelly kicked her out with high drama, with the minister offering vulgarities and curse words as she was escorted out the building and off campus. And it looks like Omarosa didn't Omarosa's just saying did not resign. And April Ryan said that tuning to CNN now, she's probably on. I'm gonna check out CNN. I definitely want to hear her take on it, man, but another one bites the dust. From what we're hearing, like I said, I read an article. You can check out my article on HBCU Post. Omarosa is going to be leaving on January 20th, which is the anniversary of the inauguration of Donald Trump. And I'm floored, man. I want to say once again, I'm floored. The reason why, because I'm a White House HBCU All-Star representing Fort Valley for the White House Initiative on HBCUs, and I was up there in Washington, and we encountered her. It wasn't planned. I read it earlier. To hear the rest of it, or to read the rest of it, go to HBCU Post. You can look at the article. The articles that I did the recaps on, where I talked about and discussed Omarosa and my time at the White House with the All-Stars. The first one what I talked about it was being an HBCU All-Star, day 2, meeting Omarosa and Betsy DeVos, networking with BT, and attending a church business reception. That's a funny title. I'm crazy. So it's linked in the comments. If you're looking at it on a computer, if you're looking at it on your phone, you might can't click it, I'm not sure. But the other one right here is being an All-Star, day 3, visiting the White House where HBCU rivals meet, and stranded in DC. So if you want to read more about what happened on my trip to DC, and also our multiple encounters with Omarosa, make sure to check out those pages, man, and make sure to like HBCU Post, because we don't know what could happen at this point. I'm going to be doing a lot of coverage soon, because after we get this basketball thing situated with our Wildcat boys that's shooting around right now, that's probably hit the basketballs. When I get back home and I have free time, definitely going to be looking into what's going on Capitol Hill with key regulations that's going to impact HBCUs, and also definitely going to try to interview some people and see what's going on. I know the president of Dillard University, Dr. Walter Kimbrough, has some choice things to say, especially about the new executive director of the initiative, Mr. Holyfield, that was actually announced when we were up there in DC. That's when we met Omarosa the first time. When we were up there in DC, they announced that he would be the director of the initiative, and Dr. Dillard said that he hadn't heard anything from him. We haven't either, but I'm gonna keep you abreast. I love being HBCU All-Star, and I love being in this position where I can represent my institution and other HBCUs and our interests. But listen, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for listening. Doing something on HBCU Pulse. We're gonna be doing more. If you're listening, you like HBCU basketball, Lady Wildcats of Fort Valley State University are going to be taking on the Clayton State Lakers tonight at 6 o'clock. Going to stream it live on the Randall Barnes Facebook page, and it's going to be on Urban Intellectuals as well. If you like HBCU sports, going to be talking about this whole lot more. Have a conference call for the All-Star Initiative on HBCUs on tomorrow morning. If there's anything breaking, going to get it from me. But thank you so much for listening. Man, I'm just floored by it. Learned about it this morning.